don't really wanna do that. You 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 don't really wanna do that. Temptation always in effect all the time. We be forgetting that we are all blessed by the divine. You don't really wanna do that. You don't really wanna do that. You don't really wanna do that. You don't really wanna do that, no. Sinning will not get you in the kingdom. Living your whole life without no freedom. Look up to the Father, He will give you rest. You don't have to sin to relieve any stress. You don't really wanna do that. 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 We battle with the flesh all the time. Don't be failing every test like it's fine. You don't really wanna do that. You don't really wanna do that. You don't really wanna do that. You don't really wanna do that, no. People battle with this all the time. Speaking death and sex days on the mind. Doing evil works and don't want to resign. Think it's working out until you're in a bind. No, you lean on your own understanding and not listen to what He's commanding. You lean on your own understanding, acting like it's all fine and dandy. Better chill and keep that sword handy, cause every day it gets harder planning. Rather be on the beach where it's sandy, cause this walk not sweet like it's candy. No plan B, I'm only following the way, leading me straight to the A, a higher. I am that I am, it's so great. He the one woke me today, no liar. He keeping His word, Christ, our daily bread, life. The truth is in the book, read. You don't have to write, it's already written. Audio book you can listen. You got the time, but you rather be on worldly things. Man, you tripping, not even thinking about the spiritual. Your soul is up on the line. Your focus is stuck on materials, but can't take it with you when it's time. You don't really wanna do that. 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 We battle with the flesh all the time. Don't be failing every test like it's fine. You don't really wanna do that. You don't really wanna do that. You don't really wanna do that. You don't really wanna do that, no.
دادم به الهرات یخون نکها میاله به هر یا هی نکی کپایم اووار لباف نکی کپایم اووار لباف He who has clean hands and a pure heart. Hey, he who has clean hands and a pure heart. Who can ascend to his holy mountain? Who can stand in his holy place? He who has clean hands and a pure heart. Who can ascend to his holy mountain? Who can stand in his holy place? He who has clean hands and a pure heart. Nikki Kapaim Uvar Levav Nikki Kapaim Uvar Levav. He who has clean hands and a pure heart. Hey, he who has clean hands and a pure heart. Who can ascend to his holy mountain? Who can stand in his holy place? He who has clean hands and a pure heart. Who can ascend to his holy mountain? Who can stand in his holy place? He who has clean hands and a pure heart.
Shalom, 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 beautiful people. Shalom. Welcome to the Truth Be Told Flex Podcast.
Yes, sir.
I'm your host for this evening, Ayo Ben Yahoo. And we got the man himself, the young lion, young Judah in the building. What's going on, brother?
Yes, sir. How you doing?
I'm doing good, man. Doing good. Cher is off tonight, taking care of some things. And that was, I think it was Queen Makeda with Clean Hands and Pure Heart. And I have to find the name of the first artist video we played, but always introing and coming into the show with great music, great righteous bangers. So yeah, go look those artists up. I'll find out the name of the first artist. But first and foremost, all praise to the Most High. We're glad to be here. Glad to be with you tonight. We got a great show lined up. How you feeling, man? Feeling good?
I'm feeling good, bro. Just good, blessed to see the middle of the week and hope to see the end of it too.
Come on, all praise for that.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, man. It's been one of those weeks, a great week, but a little coming through some adversity all through the week. But we know we are more than conquerors through the Most High, through the set apart Ruach. Welcome everybody, our great family, our great audience. Hit that like button on the way in. And like we always say, guess what? It's free.
It's free.
It's free, man. It don't cost you a nickel to hit that like button. But we got a great show lined up tonight. Thanks so much for everybody being here. We're streaming live on YouTube as we speak. And once again, we're streaming live on Nasaya TV. And I believe Elder Nasaya announced the other day that today, Wednesday, was Truth Be Told Day. So all day, on demand, Truth Be Told was streaming all the way up to the streaming live right now. So applause for that. Man. All praise for that. We're thankful for Nasaya TV and their platform to give Hebrews and to give Truth Be Told and other Hebrews alike a great community, a great family place to come and spread the word to the four corners. So we're thankful for that. Yes, we have a special guest later on. 3MG Music Management will be in the building talking about the event July 30th that's coming up. So we look forward to chopping it up with them for a little bit. But yeah, let's get the show going, man. So we got some we're gonna dive right in. We got some hot topics. A lot has been going on. I know y'all hear us say that a lot on the show, but it's
always something going
on. It's just, bruh, I tell you, after we get off the show on Thursday, we talk about this all the time. We get off the show on Thursday, or Wednesdays now, and I mean, 10 minutes later, we sharing articles.
Yep.
Because the news cycle, it don't stop.
Yeah.
One hot topic is the immigrant crisis at the border. This thing is, it's getting out of hand. And now, from what I understand, they had an update today that folks in Chicago are now starting to protest because, just like New York, Mayor Eric Adams, we spoke about last week, he's at the controversy, the head of the controversy as the mayor of New York with the whole Daniel Penny and the whole investigation into that.
Right.
So now he's come under fire, and the mayor of Chicago's come under fire because there are safe havens for these immigrants that are coming from Florida through Texas and the bordering states. So keep your eye on that, because it's getting a little crazy. And we spoke last week, and as you can see, the title of the show is a dystopian society. A dystopia is a speculated community or society that is undesirable or frightening.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And like the title says, it's all unraveling. Episode 102. So a dystopian society is more so of an imagined world or society in which people lead wretched, dehumanized, and fearful lives. And I was prefacing saying with alluding to the fact that it does seem like we're in a simulation. Everything is politicized now. Deaths, everything. You got the debt ceiling is another hot topic that they have so many days to raise the debt ceiling, or in better terms, raise the credit limit for the U.S. to be able to borrow
more money.
Government running, right? More money, more. I don't even know what the number is. Do you know, Young Judah, for the debt now? It's like over $1 trillion.
I think the last time that we talked about it, I think it was at like 33 trillion.
That's crazy.
Yeah. That don't even make sense.
It don't even make sense to have a number that big, and now you're going to raise the debt ceiling. But if they don't raise the debt ceiling by like June 5th or June 6th, then it'll start really unraveling. And we're going to talk about that later, that, the Biden administration, they're having to make a decision to have a bipartisan, to have both sides, Republicans or conservatives and Democrats or liberals, come to the middle and meet. But, it's always this tug of war. One side is saying this, one side is saying that. So we're going to talk about that later. Also, Daniel Penny, we were speaking of that earlier. He's in the news again because he did an interview and came out and was saying that how could he be racist because he was planning a trip to Africa. Yeah, let that sizzling roux out for 5 seconds. That he actually said that. Was like, well, I was planning a trip to Africa. Bro, that's like saying, man, I don't like black people because I got a black pickup truck.
I got black friends.
I got a black TV. Like, I got a colored TV. Like, it's just, like I said, it's just this. It's like we're in this simulation, bro.
Yeah, man.
And it's just ludicrous. The whole Brittany Griner thing, everybody knows that the NBA season, the playoffs are wrapping up, and the WNBA season is just getting started. And we know last year around this time, we know the whole Brittany Griner situation. She was over there in Russia. She is now back. Her coach, they went off. She plays for the LA Sparks, and they didn't, they had a 10,000 seat or 10,000 people showed up to see the first WNBA game and see Brittany Griner, but they didn't sell out. So now people got mad. The coach got mad. So Sheer was talking last night. He did a great extra, speaking about the Wizards, and it goes right in along with this topic, the dystopian society, like a simulator, because Was all of that a ploy? You know, the WNBA has been talking for the past couple of years about letting the NBA players pay some of their salaries and how they can't get no one in the seats.
Right.
Was this a ploy to just get people in the seats? Was this a ploy? This whole Russia thing with her going there now being back? Was it just get viewers watching? It's crazy. It's crazy. Once again, a simulation. 50 senators have been given satellite phones in case of a catastrophic event. Mount Tonga that erupted last year is still disrupting satellites. There's something about under the ocean when it erupted, it's got bubbles and gas going up to the satellites. Crazy. Mount Etna in Sicily, Italy erupted last week, and Mexico's don't chop me up for this, y'all. Popocatépetl volcano. Mexico's Mount Popocatépetl has started spewing ashes as of May 18th. So, man, goes back to Deuteronomy 6:22, signs and wonders, great and sore upon Egypt or Mizraim, upon Pharaoh, upon all his household.
Yes,
what you think about all that? That's a lot. That's a lot going on. And
man, we finna dive into it though.
Yeah, let's get into it. So we got a great Beyond Critical Race Theory tonight. As always, we want to go into these issues that we have and that has been going on for a long time, right? So today, for the past couple of weeks, we have been running On This Day series that we started. So for this one, for tonight, what we have for you guys is On This Day. Well, actually, Monday.
Yes.
May 23rd, 1796. Get this. President George Washington offers reward for the capture of Black woman fleeing enslavement. So let's get into it. On May 23rd, 1796, a newspaper ad was placed seeking the return of Ona, which was named Ona Judge, an enslaved Black woman who had absconded from the household of the President of the United States, George Washington. Miss Judge has successfully escaped enslavement 2 days earlier, fleeing the Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, and settling in Freedom in New Hampshire. Known to the Washingtons as Wani, Miss Judge was given to Martha Washington by her father and had been enslaved as part of the Washington estate since she was 10 years old. As George Washington gained political clout, Miss Judge traveled with the family to states with varying laws regarding slavery, including lengthy residence in Pennsylvania. Pennsylvania's Gradual Abolition Act of 1780 declared that Black people or Israelite people enslaved by non-residents of the state were legally freed after living in Pennsylvania for 6 continuous months. To avoid enforcement of the law and prevent the men and women they enslaved from being legally freed, the Washingtons regularly sent Miss Judge and others in the household out of the state for brief periods to restart the 6 months residency requirement. Gotta love that. They always knew a loophole through the law, right? When her eldest granddaughter Eliza Custis married, Martha Washington promised to leave Miss Judge to the new couple as a gift in her will, distressed that she would be doomed to enslave even after Martha Washington died. Miss Judge resolved to run in 1796. On the night of May 21st, while the Washingtons were packing to return to Mount Vernon, Miss Judge made her escape from Philadelphia on a ship destined for Portsmouth, New Hampshire. She had befriended many enslaved people in Philadelphia, and they helped her to send her belongings to New Hampshire before her escape. The Washingtons tried several times to apprehend Miss Judge, hiring headhunters and issuing runaway advertisements like the one submitted on May 23rd. In the ad, listen to this description. In the ad, she is described as a light mulatto girl, much freckled, with very black eyes and bushy black hair. They didn't want to put woolly. You see how they put bushy black hair? Because they know that woolly, people would have been like, well, wait a minute, woolly. Oh, she got hair.
It's got a deeper explanation.
Right.
To
Where
it.
have we seen that before?
Right.
Where have we seen woolly hair before? Oh, the Bible. Oh, okay. So yeah, in the ad they put bushy black hair. She is of middle stature, slender, and delicately formed, about 20 years of age. check this. I know now, of course, these days it's not a lot, but back in 1796, this was a lot. But check out this number. The Washingtons offered a $10 reward for Mrs. Judge's return to bondage. But she evaded capture, married, and had several children, and lived for more than 50 years as a free woman in New Hampshire. She died there still free. Come on, somebody. On February 25th, 1848. And on this day, or May 23rd, 1796, Miss Ona Wani Judge, she became a free woman and stayed that way. She escaped from the first sworn-in president of the United States, supposedly, George Washington. What you think about that, man? That's crazy, right?
That's just they don't really care about us,
right?
They really don't, man.
Yeah, man. And like I said, it's just I've never heard this in school. This is never taught.
So what I've come to understand with stories like this, they're not gonna teach it in school because that's just more ammo for people like us. That's just ammo. They not finna. Why am I gonna give you a gun and give you the bullets too so you can shoot me?
Come on,
you know what I'm saying?
You said a mouthful right there because it was saying that loophole. It was something interesting that you can live in a state for so many months and then have to go back just to show that okay, we're not breaking the law. We she's still under our care, but you can send her off. It just goes to show how, once again, the reason for these beyond critical race theories is to show how our lives are parallel.
Right.
How in Jerusalem in 70 AD and how we had to flee into West Africa, then put on the ships and then brought over here. That stuff happened, and then all the way to now. But it's crazy how in between that time, you never heard. I was reading this. I was like, wow, I've never heard of this woman. That's a brave thing to do, to flee, knowing you under oppression, knowing they're going to look for you. They took out a newspaper ad.
Right.
And for you to be able to stay away for that long, and she passed on and died as a free woman.
I was about to say, and then die free as well. Yeah,
man, this was one of those stories where as I was reading it, I was a little heavy. You know how we were talking last week, and we talk all the time on how you get heavy and it burdens you to hear these stories and find out. Like I never read this in a textbook when I was in school. Whether it was elementary, middle school, you always heard that George Washington was this great. Never did lie and couldn't tell a lie and this and that. Well, we're just now finding out a few years ago that this man had slaves. We never was taught that in school. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like,
and if they did teach it to you, it was kind of like over the shoulder. Like they didn't spend too much time on that.
Glossed over it. Right. Good point. Yeah, they just sort of glossed over it and didn't really, dive deeply. But salute, Miss Ona Wani Judge. Salute to her. She had children, so maybe let's hope there's a bloodline. I'm sure there are. Her children, great grandchildren, great grandchildren are living, and I'm sure they probably know of that account. They know probably about that story, and it was a blessing to read that, man. And with all that's going on, like I said, with everything, let's get before we move on, let's get a quick scripture. I wanted to read Genesis. Let's see, Genesis 15:13.
All right.
Before we go any further, let's get that scripture, man.
Pull it up for the people.
Yeah, man. Genesis 15:13, and we're gonna, this has been here for. I mean, it's our book, it's our culture. Genesis 15:13, and he said unto Abram, know of a surety that thy seed shall be a stranger in a land that is not theirs, and shall serve them, and they shall afflict them 400 years. Now, we know that there were, accounts of, you know, the tribe of Shabazz before that time, you know, those were about 12 to 15 folks, 12 to 15 people that came over. You know, here we're talking about a corporate body of people in 1619 that was taken from West Africa.
Right. And
that started the trade as far as it being a corporate business and pretty much empowering what you see to this day. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And it's right there in the book that, you know, from 1619 to 2019, looking from 2019 of what's been happening these past 4 years, man. And we just read Deuteronomy 6:22, signs and wonders great and sore upon Mizraim, or Ruakali, or spiritual Egypt, upon Pharaoh and upon all of his household. The household could mean that's the family.
Yeah.
You know, all the people that took a hand and played a hand in bringing us over. And it's right there in the book. It's prophecy unfolding before our eyes. So yes, y'all made that was a good ending for her. Totally agree that, you know, you just, you know, I know a lot of my beyond critical race theories. You know, they leave us sometimes, you know, thinking with a heavy heart. But this one was one that I think a while back I had a story almost similar to this, where one of the young ladies was trying to get away from the oppressor, and she was able to go to a hotel in New York where they were passing through, and was able to get away and actually won the court case that they had against her. So yeah, hopefully, you know, I'll be able to dig and find more heroic and great stories, you know, not only for the struggle of our people that we don't hear about in school, but the triumph and the great accounts, the
great accolades.
Yes, because, you know, these days, man, all we hear is just
the shortcomings.
Yeah, the shortcomings, and that's what the thing about Truth Be Told Flex podcast. We like to bring y'all, keep y'all at the forefront of the current events and the news, you know, based on biblical principle and prophecy. So yeah, that was the Beyond Critical Race Theory.
Yes, sir.
So I believe we
are that first music
going
break.
with that first music break. Y'all keep it locked in. We're gonna go to the music break. We'll be back in just a second.
Yes, sir.
When the kingdom fall, we gon' have to take it all. When this kingdom fall, we gon' have to take it all. When this kingdom fall, we gon' have to take it all. When this kingdom fall, we gon' have to take it all, Babylon. When this kingdom fall, we gon' have to take it all. When this kingdom fall, we gon' have to take it all. When this kingdom fall, we gon' have to take it all. When this kingdom fall, we gon' have to take it all, Babylon.
All of my ox, they still in them trenches, toting them switches, really quick with the clip extension, pistol grip with them laser lenses, on the lip, a potato tip, on the hip, an extra clip, on the right hand, toting the Bible, walking the fine line, my eyes closed. I'm keeping the Sabbath, Yesharala can't be serving two masters. What does light have to do with the darkness? What's a heart in the land of the lawless? I'm coming regardless, I got epistle missiles for the target. When this pride comes, that's what a fall is, in the sea of sin, we the salt. Wow. I give all praise to the Most High, Yah, all in the name of Yahweh Shah, waking me up from the enchantments, giving me all the commandments. The kingdom is coming, there's no time to stall. Many fall from the teachings of Paul. Only his children will answer the call. These wicked rulers that when Babylon falls. Take this concept. Sin slipped in while we slept. The attachment left us with a defect. The commandments we put on reject. We have no respect, going through a reset. I call that cause and effect. Some can't reach that even with a precept. That's why lost souls don't teach that, because
when this kingdom fall, we gon' have to take it all. When this kingdom fall, we gon' have to take it all. When this kingdom fall, we gon' have to take it all. When this kingdom fall, we gon' have to take it all, Babylon. When this kingdom fall, we gon' have to take it all. When this kingdom fall, we gon' have to take it all. When this kingdom fall, we gon' have to take it all. When this kingdom fall, we gon' have to take it all, Babylon.
Reminiscing about old scriptures, wicked brothers, they just don't listen. I was chilling at the top with my ox, gold chain with the gold fringes. I done spoke the truth and broke it down. Got them right, now they souls lifted. I done prayed to the Most High, now I'm feeling good, now my soul's lifted. I done read the other books, got the other nation shook. Scriptures whipping like a cook, red read the real Jews. Come please take a look, wicked brothers, you reap what you sow. Staff of affection, we moving like Joe. Better be careful while wearing your clothes. Rising just dripping from head to my toes. Laughing but I be up in them scriptures, what you wanna know. How you super righteous but you never keep commandments though. Super fringed up, even got them hanging by my toes. Time is speeding up, but you brothers moving super moving slow. Talking to Yahweh in my thoughts, hope he bless my soul. Log of wickedness is creeping up, smell it through my nose. Living by that sword, you get checked, reaping what you sow. Enter to the book of Exodus, what you wanna know?
When the kingdom fall, we gon' have to take it all. When this kingdom fall, we gon' have to take it all. When this kingdom fall, we gon' have to take it all. When this kingdom fall, we gon' have to take it all. When this kingdom fall, we gon' have to take it all. When this kingdom fall, we gon' have to take it all. When this kingdom fall, we gon' have to take it all. When this kingdom fall, we gon' have to take it all, Babylon.
Yeah, that was some of that righteous heat from the Fringe Gang. Fringe
Yes,
Gang.
sir.
Yeah, that was that righteous heat, man. They got a bona fide righteous banger out there. So appreciate that music. Y'all go check them out online, wherever you find good music, streaming on all platforms. But yeah, so our next story, man. This is a doozy right here. Me and Shu was talking earlier. And like I said, he had a extra, a Truth Be Told Flex podcast extra yesterday, right? And he named it. He was speaking on the wizards. Like, everybody knows, the Wizard of Oz. Everybody was, had heard the lore and the stories about this great wizard and this city of Emerald City of Oz and
Right.
Yellow Brick Road, and everybody that was, Dorothy and Cowardly Lion and the Tin Man, everybody had some kind of issue with him, right? And they heard stories and was trying to go find this city that had the Yellow Brick Road and was trying to find this wizard to get corrected, right? Only to find out they got there. It was this little old short man. It was like, hey, you the wizard?
Right.
But here's the caveat, though. The thing was, for that whole time, he had their minds thinking that he was some gigantic entity or some, God or something that was wielding powers behind his curtain when he was just a regular person. So this, right. So this next story, like she was asking yesterday, he asked the question, who are the real players behind the scenes? Who are the real bosses? The people you can't see. We're going to talk about Marjorie Taylor Greene, who is a white conservative Republican, and Mr. Jamal Bowman, which is an African-American Democratic congressman. And they have recently gotten in the news. They had a spat, and she said some disparaging things, and it sounds familiar. We're going to get into this article. Let's watch this video real quick, short clip.
Queen Representative Jamal Bowman out of New York, and the Supreme Karen herself, Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene. Now, they little argument, I wouldn't even be covering that, but it's what she said after the fact that say, okay, I'm going to jump on this one because we need to go back into, it's like the Sarah Comrie thing. She's pulling those tropes. So let me go ahead and play just a video that they were arguing. You will see exactly what it was. And then after that, I'm going to play what Marjorie Taylor Greene said in her mind, what happened that day. Let's roll that clip.
Come on now, save the party, save America, save the children, do something about guns. Come on, invest in education. The border is what Trump left it. What are we talking about?
Where are the migrant
What
children?
kids?
You guys
We're accepting them. We love them. We love the migrant children. We lost them.
You can't find them.
What are you talking about? What are you talking about?
Yeah, migrant children missing.
No, we don't know the news. I don't know. That's Fox News. That's Fox News. Listen, I need you to save the party. Save the party.
I'll tell you what's on video is Jamal Bowman shouting at the top of his lungs, cursing, calling me a horrible, calling me a white supremacist, which I take great offense to. That is like calling a person of color the N-word, which should never happen. Calling me a white supremacist is equal to that, and that is wrong. I think there's a lot of concern about Jamal Bowman. So, and I am concerned about it. I feel threatened by him.
If you watch the first clip, clearly Jamal was not cussing. And I understand Jamal Bowman is a Democrat.
But did you, yes. See that with your own eyes.
Okay, so
You're right.
I'm just at a loss for words.
Bruh. When I seen it, I seen the little confrontation on Capitol Hill. Okay, they were both, she was pointing at him. Y'all seen, everybody in the audience seen it. What did y'all think about that video? Put in the chat what your thoughts. Now, like Philip Scott was saying, it wasn't everybody could see. Right.
When did
Where
he
did
curse?
And then, everybody could see the spat. They had cameras. That was for the world to see. But here is what lies the problem. Like Philip Scott said, what me and you are thinking, what everybody else watching right now, the 13 people we got in the building. He didn't curse.
Nope.
He didn't yell and scream to the point to where people had to restrain him. But she says he cursed and that he called her a white supremacist.
Which is equal to being called the N-word.
Bruh, make it make sense.
When has being called a white supremacist oppressed the people? Please show me that information so I can understand. She's a super Karen for real.
And that's exactly how Philip Scott labeled her, a super Karen. Because what we have to understand is, it goes back to and this lady just passed. When I first was doing this story to set this up for the podcast, I immediately thought about Emmett Till's accuser, Carolyn Bryant Dunham. From then until now, I mean, you got Rosewood. What was it said? Black man attacked a white woman.
Right.
Numerous stories in the post-slavery all the way to now. Look at what she just said with Twitter and social media the way it is. I seen that. I wasn't surprised at the spat. They do that, gun reform,
right.
Immigrant, foreign policy. That's what they
politicians.
Do.
That's what they do.
That's what they do exactly. What threw me back was her. We need to keep an eye on him, and I don't feel safe. I feel threatened.
Make it make sense.
Make it make sense. Do y'all know how dangerous that is? That is dangerous, man, and it just brings me to Matthew 24. What did Mashiach say? Let's go to Matthew 24 right quick before we get into this article. We got a New York Times article, and y'all seen the video. We're going to go into this article real quick. Let's go to Matthew 24. Let's go to Matthew 24, verse 4. And it says, and Yahushua answered and said unto them, take heed that no man deceive you. That's after they said the disciples of Talmudim, it was Yahushua and the 12, and they said, tell us, when shall these things be? And what shall be the sign of thy coming and the end and of the end of the world? And Yahushua answered and said unto them, not the multitude, not one person. He turned and said to them, take heed that no man deceive you. And once again, host Shear just did the extra yesterday about deception. And we were talking about the wizard. That man, the Wizard of Oz, deceived them. They made this long trip, went through all of this trouble, and were deceived, right? So let's go down and this verse 10. Now it goes down and says, for many shall come in my name, saying I am Mashiach, and shall deceive many. You shall hear wars, rumors of wars. See that ye be not troubled. He's talking to the Talmudim, right? The disciples. For all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. Nation shall rise against nation, kingdom against kingdom, and there shall be famines, pestilences, earthquakes in diverse places. Verse 8, all these are beginning of sorrows. 9, then shall they deliver you up to be afflicted, and shall kill you, and ye shall be hated of all nations for my name's sake. Here is verse 10. Here is society now, congressmen, politicians, everybody. What does verse 10 say? And then shall many be offended, and shall betray one another, and shall hate one another. Man, that's powerful. And we talk about this all the time. She was talking about it yesterday. You know, the title of the show, it just seems like we're in this simulation. We're going to get into this article. We talked about it last week and the week before. The last 2 or 3 weeks, we've talked about things being politicized, right?
Right.
Instead of holding a press conference, like when I was little, Ronald Reagan, the presidents, they would hold a press conference. Now everybody go to Twitter.
Mm-hmm.
Marjorie Taylor Greene, Mr. Bowman, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, they're on Twitter, right? So let's get into this article from New York Times. It says Jamal Bowman finds his voice. Some Republicans don't like the sound. Said many of his colleagues had already left for the night, but as Representative Jamal Bowman, Democrat of New York, stepped out onto the Capitol steps on Wednesday, he had business left to do, heckling Republicans. And like we always say, listen to the language of the article. Listen to what they're saying about him. Do they double down? Are they going to double down on what Marjorie Taylor Greene stated? Y'all clearly, everybody's seen the video. I know my eyes are not crazy. Young Judy, you got them young eyes. You seen it for yourself. Everybody's seen it. She didn't. Excuse me. He didn't curse. She said she did, and then she doubled down and said, "Well, you know, he called me a white supremacist." That's basically calling the equivalent of an N-word, lady. That is a
reach,
right? I don't know what planet you've been on or what genre of music you've been listening to, but that ain't
where you grew up at,
right? I don't know, but that's not equivalent to the N-word. So it says he was heckling some Republicans, and it says one of the representatives that he yelled, "Have some dignity," right? He yelled that towards Representative George Santos, which is now being indicted on fraud charges as a congressman. The New York freshman who was fighting federal fraud charges, and to a sea of TV cameras waiting below. He said, "Listen, no more QAnon, no more MAGA, no more debt ceiling nonsense," he said as he pivoted to another confrontation, this time with Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene, who stood nearby. That's the confrontation you guys seen.
Mm-hmm.
It says the theatrical back and forth ended as Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, a fellow member of the left-wing squad, gave a slight tug to Mr. Bowman's arm, repeating, "She ain't worth it, bro." But not before a handful of lawmakers whipped out cell phone cameras to capture the soon-to-be viral spat. That video you guys saw has over 7 million views. 7 million views. 7 million views. Why would you? If it's regular politics, why polarize it? Once again, Dysotipian simulator. Utopia, right? Utopia is a society or community in a state of bliss. Everything's perfect.
Harmony.
The environment. Say it again out.
Harmony.
Everything is in harmony.
Yes,
and
sir.
when you have harmony, you have what? Peace.
Yep.
Right? Excuse me. A dystopian society, like we stated before, is a speculated community or society that is undesirable or frightening, which in other words, it starts with the C, chaos. Come on, man, chaotic. This is what they want. And when I say they, like I said, we ain't talking about all people. You know, y'all gotta understand who the oppressors are, which is whatever they the 1%. You know, this is not all, you know, white people or, you know, African Americans. We're not generalizing. This is specific people that are at the top that want this chaos, that want you to not even realize you're in a simulation.
Yep.
Everything is polarized. We talked a few months back. There was a reason Elon Musk took over Twitter. And now he's stepping down and somebody else is going to take over. He's still going to own the company, but there's going to be a new CEO. All he did, I forgot in business school what they call it, but it's called, it's when someone steps in just for a little bit to get things, make sure everything is okay, then they give it to somebody else. There's a name for it, but that's pretty much what it is. He just came in, overlooked everything for a little bit. Company is sold to him. And now you can basically say anything. So now these politicians, hey, why am I going to get a press release for a press conference and get ABC, CBS, NBC? I'll just go to Twitter. I'll just make the press come to me. Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And we done said it 100 times on this show, I'm pretty sure, and they going to hear it 100 times more in future episodes. This is nothing but crafty counsel. That's all it is. He told it to us already, and we seeing it each and every day what they doing. This is crafty counsel. Keep your eyes open.
Crafty counsel. Keep your eyes open. Let's keep going in this great point, young Judah. So it says, in this hyperpartisan era, the country has no shortage of politicians willing to savage each other. What did we just read in verse 10? Many shall be offended, shall betray one another, and shall hate one another.
Yes.
Now, we've talked before about them being buddy, rubbing elbows behind the scenes, then get right on camera like they don't like each other. It's for the optics. Once again, the people you see on camera, who are the people behind the scenes telling them to do this?
Who really in control?
Who really in control? Right. Who is really in control? The people you don't see. They didn't see the Wizard of Oz until the very end. They had you in the city now.
Right.
If they would have known that before, they wouldn't have wasted their time going through the Valley of the Shadow of Death pretty much to get to this city. Right, Yame, it's the wizards. It says, but Mr. Bowman, willing to savage each other from across a hearing room or on social media, like we just talked. Mr. Bowman, a media-savvy Democratic socialist from the Bronx, has rapidly made a name for himself this spring by going where most of them have not, up to his opponent's actual faces. See, now you see how they paint this black dude? They're trying to say, oh, he's in your face. You see,
he's aggressive.
He's aggressive. He's threatening. That's just because he's a black man, a heterosexual black man that's voicing his opinion, or stating the facts. Pretty much. Yeah, go ahead.
I was just repeating what we already said. Crafty counsel. This is like we were talking about the last episode where they were talking about how they trying to pretty much set up this race war. It ain't being said, and it might not happen today, might not happen a year from now, but it's going to happen because we're seeing all the steps and the processes that they're taking to get to this point. We see it every day in the media.
Right, every day, man. And the fact that, we always talk about on this show, how we are thankful that the Most High has awakened us in the awakening, that we have the knowledge of who we are. Not only do we have the knowledge of who we are and who our power is, but we understand what the scripture is saying. We understand what the deception is. We understand what we're looking at. So just think if we was on the other side of this.
Right.
Like you said, it's just people getting riled up. Sheer said it before. It's just getting people riled up. And right here, those are the facts they use to create division. She was playing her role exactly. A dystopian movie, a simulator. But once again, I'm thankful that I'm on the side that we know this.
Yeah.
We can see it.
We know what's going on.
Right. We know what's going on. But just think of all the millions of people that, yeah, that's right. You tell him. Or, oh, yeah, that's right. You let her know, man. It's just
feeding into it.
Come on, bro. Feeding into it. And this is where, like Yesha be. Nation will rise against nation. It's going to happen. It's going to happen. And here it is. We talked about it at the top of the show. all these hot topics, the signs and wonders, the volcanoes and 50 senators giving these satellite phones just in case cell phones are not used. Where they do that at? What y'all getting ready for? What y'all
getting ready for?
Right. We already seen January 6th a couple years ago. We already seen what happened. And that wasn't even us. We wasn't even involved in it. We wasn't even there. It was only literally 3 or 4 of us out of thousands of
people.
I
think they was security.
Bro. Right. So just think, it's just, it's coming to a head. So let's keep going. I'm gonna read a little bit more of this article. And Mr. Bowman, he's coming out to saying, now there was another video about gun control and about an AR-15. It says a video in which an AR-15 owning House Republican from Kentucky tells Mr. Bowman, 47, to calm down. Stay in your place, boy.
Right.
Stay seated. Act your role.
Yep.
As they argue over how to stop gun violence has already been viewed. This one has been viewed more than 7 million times. A friendlier confrontation with a conservative House colleague, it spawned a whole full CNN debate. And this is where Mr. Bowman had to go on camera and say, I don't mean any harm. I ain't trying to hurt nobody. But we've got to take America to the next level. And we are not moving with urgency. So he's speaking like Barack Obama. But he ain't no tall, wiry, thin, light-skinned dude. Y'all seen in the video, he's sort of buff. My complexion, a little dark, and he's, to them, he's threatening, he's intimidating.
But I just want to point that out. That's almost like with every black face that's in the media, especially a male black face. If they voice their opinion and they get a little loud, somewhere on the back end, there's gonna be an apology somewhere, or they're gonna have to give an explanation or something to basically tone that down because I was being an aggressive black man.
Right. See what I'm saying?
That's just wrong, bro.
Yeah. And like I said, it's the fact that it's not even it's the fact that they say it, but it's the fact that over so many hundred years, look how society views us.
Right.
It's like without even saying that, they view us like that, especially the black male. And then on top of that, all you see on TV commercials is a Trestiva commercial with 2 of us walking on the beach holding hands with a dog. Like, it's just the feminization. Like, it's there, it's everywhere. Everywhere you turn, that's all you see.
Demasculizing and desensitizing the black community is
so
crazy.
Right. So when I read this, I was like, man, here you go. I was like, here you go. This is right at the forefront. So it says that the approach also carries risk, especially for a so-called black man, some of which come into sharp relief. It says that is when Miss Green, a combative Georgian with a history of spouting conspiracy theories and directly confronting her own political opponent, said that she had felt threatened by Mr. Bowman, even though the video showed her smiling as they sparred, as they bantered, like roasting each other, going back and forth.
Right.
He said Miss Green said that Mr. Bowman had called her white supremacist, an insult she claimed was equal to someone calling a person of color the N-word. That's super dangerous. Then she goes on to say, I'm very concerned about Jamal Bowman, and he's someone that people should watch. The comments left Mr. Bowman. Now look what like I said, y'all gotta listen to the language.
Outraged.
It says the comments left Mr. Bowman outraged. Now, with everything we just read, you're gonna insert the word outrage to make it look like he's an angry black man. Oh, this made me mad.
It's what's after that though. That's even worse, if not quite surprised. Why not just put quite surprised?
Right. You see what I'm saying? Like I said, but when I was reading this article, I was like, wow, this is. But once again, let's go back to they're playing a role, guys. The title of the show. Mm-hmm. It's all unraveling. It's a dystopian simulator. These tactics, intimidation, and then if you can't intimidation, it's just violence. And this is where the chaos that Matthew 24 is coming out. We read Genesis 15. 13. Know of a surety. You know, once this seed starts to awaken in the land that's not there, they're going to wake up. Romans talk about, they're going to wake up. And the more we wake up to everlasting life, to have life and getting back to our power, the more this stuff is going to happen up. And it's just, it's plain right here in writing. You guys see it. Mr. Bowman says there's a history of this. And he says from Mike Brown to Emmett Till, to any black man who is passionate, outspoken, intelligent, trying to stand their ground around being confronted with violence. Her words today were valid and might induce violence if they get into the wrong ears. If they get into the wrong ears, my friends, there's not an if. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when.
When, yes, sir.
When does it really, Matthew also talks about the seeds, 30, 60, 100 fold. Some fell by the wayside. When are these seeds going to truly cultivate in these minds and the hearts of society? It's crazy. Going on to it, and the article goes on to say, Mr. Bowman, who spent 20 years as a teacher and administrator, he won his Bronx and Westchester County seat in 2020, defeating a more moderate 3-decade incumbent in a Democratic Party. So that was somebody there that had been there 30 years. 3 decades, that was more like a moderate leaning or in the middle, not too liberal, not conservative, but they classify as a Democrat or liberal, but kind of, with some of the morals as conservative, right, in the middle. Some morals as conservatives, as Republicans, and then have some liberal leaning, left and right. He ran on a platform that included a wealth tax on the rich, which is widely popular among liberals, national rent control, sweeping climate policies with a federal jobs guarantee, shifting money from police departments to social services, and a single-payer healthcare system. His tenure started just before the January 6, 2021 attack. You see, I just mentioned that.
Yep.
You see what I'm saying? Now, how is that coincidence? That is not a coincidence. Make that make sense. His tenure, he was a teacher. This dude was a teacher. And then right before January 6th, this dude be somebody who's been in there 30 years. And once again, this is the things that was going on in Judea when Yahushua returned. And when he was 30 years old, he returned from Africa. And this was what was happening amongst our people. Right. The Roman government had set in there and had us getting everybody to think, oh, the government's good. We could do this. They give you this. They give you that. And had them out there working, but behind the scenes controlling, oh, you're going to say this. You're going to say this because it's going to look like you're against her. But then we're going to have her to say this, say this. We're going to have y'all clashing. It's going to keep the crowd riled up. You see what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah.
This stuff just didn't start yesterday. I seen the parallel. When I was reading this, I'm like, bro, this stuff has been going on for a long time, bro. That's when you see all the videos and movies of this, Caesar with the leaf and the Roman toga, and there'd be 100 of them sitting around in that little thing, and they'd be talking in all these speeches. This has been going on for a long time, bro. Yep. So there you have it, man. What you think about that? What's your last words on that, man? That's keep your eye on.
Just keep your eyes. I say, just keep your eyes open, because when they take crafty counsel, bro, they do it right up under our noses every time. And people that's not hip to what's really going on, it's gonna fly by them every single time.
It's gonna fly by, man. It's crazy. Keep your eye on this. Also I have forgot to mention before that on top of this whole politicizing of Mr. Bowman and Miss Green, Miss Green is a avid follower of, like you said, the conspiracy theories and the whole voter election debacle and all of that stuff. And then you have him they opposing each other, getting the folks riled up. So keep your eye on that. Also, we'll talk about later on in a whole nother show, but Florida Governor DeSantis, he announced he's running for president. The NAACP is calling for a travel advisory for African Americans into the state. This stuff it's heating up, guys. It's Matthew 24, real. It's getting real. And I know y'all hear us say that a lot. It's getting real, but It is truly getting real. So I think we're gonna go to our next music break, and then we're gonna come back with some special guests in the building. We got 3MG management in the building. So we're gonna go to our music break, and then we're gonna come back in just a second. Keep it locked. True Control Flex Podcast. Let's get it.
It's the Fringe Gang, Blue Ribbon Army. We the martyrs, still we get it poppin'. It's Fringe Gang, planting seeds straight in your brain. I woke up, turn up, hop on stage, bread and wine, tryna get my word up. Catch me singing all praise to the Most High, and all in the name of Yeshaya. I go nuts. Everywhere I go, I twist the whip. Scriptures hidden. Hey, catch me singing all praise to the Most High, all in the name of Yeshua. I feel like apocalypse when I got that apocrypha. I cut out the doctrine, the devil's just like a doctor. I'm smarter than most, these scriptures so hot it'll pop you. The Holy Spirit covers me better than Ghost cover Proctor. I'm the elephant in the room and a scripture collector. King y'all like Tony Jaa, the elephant protector. King y'all like Jason Statham in the transporter. I get on stage and turn up, but I keep it in order. I'm keeping this Torah, this daily bread like a torta. I'm a king, raising kings and queens out my daughters. Check it, got a 12-trap pump with an 80 cal tuck, 9 different ox in a pickup truck, speakers on peel in the back of the trunk, cause we go nuts and turn up. I woke up, turn up, hop on stage, bread and wine, tryna get my word up. Catch me singing all praise to the Most High, and all in the name of Yeshaya. I go nuts. Everywhere I go, I twist the whip. Scriptures hidden. Hey, catch me singing all praise to the Most High, all in the name of Yeshua.
Open up my Bible, reading scriptures, now I'm busting. Praying for the kingdom, got me moving like the Russians. Used to be a heathen, I got turned into a something. Till the kingdom come, I'm reading swords and blowing trumpets. Popping them scriptures, my fingers got arthritis. Kingdom is coming, my brothers getting excited. Prophecy coming, you know it's prophecy timing. Israelites gathered, it's strangers, plus it's a minus. Smelling that swine, you know it mess with my sinus. Seeing the serpents that guard and watch for them snakes. I'm seeing I'm woke, you know it's hard to escape. Waking my brothers, I do whatever I takes, you know I turn up.
I woke up, turn up, hop on stage, bread and wine, tryna get my word up. Catch me singing all praise to the Most High, and all in the name of Yeshaya. I go nuts, everywhere I go, I twist the whip, scriptures hidden, turn it up. Hey, catch me singing all praise to the Most High, all in the name of Yeshua. I hop on stage, turned up for the Abba. A higher assure, a higher by Hashem Yeshaya. Look, a higher power, there's no higher power. All praises got the fire, Jeremiah Fringe Gang, Blue Ribbon Army. I'm a king, I'm a martyr, I'm a soldier with the armor. I am stronger, faster, smarter. See the borders of my garment, I'm a tempest with the power. I'm a child of the light, see the darkness get devoured. Look, if I'm sinning, pray that Most High please forgive me. That's repentance, y'all should be my witness. Hey, we popping out, turned up again, okay? I'm resurrected straight from the flame. I woke up, turn up, hop on stage, bread and wine, tryna get my word up. Catch me singing all praise to the Most High, and all in the name of Yeshaya. I go nuts, everywhere I go, I twist the whip, scriptures hidden. Hey, catch me singing all praise to the Most High, all in the name of Yeshua.
Yeah, that was another righteous banger by Fringe Gang Army called Turn Up.
Yes, sir.
So that was a banger right there. But now, as I promised earlier, we got some special guests in the building. Going to come on for a few minutes and talk about this special event, the F3 family event that's going down July 30th in Atlanta, the ATL, Georgia. So let's welcome into the building tonight. I look like who we got representing 3MG, man. We got the House of Mono in the building. Yeah. Shalom, y'all. How y'all doing, fam?
Shalom and shalom, man.
Shalom and shalom.
Shalom.
Shalom. We got the whole House of Mono in the building. That's what I'm talking about. Welcome to the Truth Be Told Flex podcast, man. So we got you guys in here tonight, family. So what's going on? July 30th. Man, this is a big event. We've been hearing a lot about it. It's catching some traction online and getting some steam. So tell us a little bit about it.
Hey, man, all praises to the Most High, man. So all praises, we were being able to partner with 3MG in the Light Hebrew magazine. 3MG is the company that's putting on Israelite-owned company that's putting on this event, man. And you know, we see a lot of gathering within Israel. We see different events, but we seen a lack of like family events, you know. So that's what this event is, man. July 30th in Atlanta, Georgia. Listen, I'm talking about they got 10 acres, fully stocked lake, so people can go fishing. It's like 7 bouncy houses, kid zone. You know, we got vendors, food trucks, righteous, lawful food only, of course. We got many vendors, and man, I think like some of the best in Yasharallah as far as artists is gonna be performing that day, man. So,
right on.
That's what I hear, man. So all praises for that. Now you said bouncy houses, 10 acres, lake. So I seen where the feed the ducks and maybe a little bit of fish and righteous clean food.
Yes,
a
sir.
family event. So you mentioned the artist. Now I looked, and I know with you being in the music business prior to the Truth and myself, with the artist and this family event, could this sort of start being like the Yasharallah Summer Jam or Hot 97 Summerfest?
Right.
Okay, because look, when I seen you got Money-Law McGaw in there, you got King 7, your Parq, Lorvins, Hezekiah. I mean, bruh.
Amen.
And then I heard Zamar Yasharel gonna be in the building.
Selah Soul,
Night.
You got Roway the Chef, or Naviel. You got Io.
Got a lineup.
Listen, you got Art Canal. You got listen. I mean, it's some of all. I mean, the lineup is crazy. So I think that's really what I mean. You have like here in Atlanta, we used to like you got Birthday Bash. You know what I'm saying? Where they got all those. You got what's the event? A big music event I went to. Coachella. You got different.
Back in Charlotte, we had Summerfest.
Summerfest, yeah. So I mean, I think it's time that Yasharallah has something because we're growing. The truth is starting to grow. Of course, when it's only a few and people starting to wake up, and then people starting to know, like, it don't be a big need for like just give us a couple artists, let us have something we can get edified, get a little bit of entertainment when you don't want to listen to the secular anymore. Right. But now that the community is growing, now that it's like it's a need for it, because if we don't do it, guess what? It's gonna some Jewish man is gonna come in and start it, and then and put their stamp on it, and then tell us what we can't do. You know what I'm saying? So like, man, I'm telling you, like I see comments, man. It's about to be a movie. It's about to be a movie. Listen, I got on the script right now, man.
I see, man. I see, and
movie, man.
It's gonna be a movie.
We need all of Israel to come out because this is what we need, man. The family building is just and what some things we do want to, like I've been told to really push this.
Yes.
Please chime in, my beautiful wife here.
My
sons are here. Listen, we're not doing this is a unity event.
All praises.
Right on.
We see too much division going on in Israel.
Man.
From Friday to Saturday night Sabbath keepers to lunar Sabbath keepers to, I mean, we got so many divisions, and it's time to like, let's come together on what we all agree on.
Right.
We got to agree on something.
Keep it, hey, keep it in law, statutes, and commandments, the favor of Mashiach, man. And listen, all the rest, man, we're not doing that no more.
Right.
This is a time for families to come together.
Speak on it,
kids, we've been to some adult events.
Yeah,
right.
Most of the events we've been to have been adult events.
Adult events, but we haven't been to. We haven't really been to any family.
Anything where there's something specifically to cater to the different
family oriented.
Right. And that's the big thing, like you are alluding to. Like I said, like you mentioned before, the bouncy houses, the food, that whole environment. As soon as I seen the press release, I was like, yo, this is going to be major, and it's all in the Most High's will. Like that's you said, that's the Most High's about the family. You know, we've been to the righteous adult events, but now here's one with the whole family. And we got the privilege, me and my house got the privilege of hanging out with the House of Mono at the something special video shoot. It was cold that day.
It was cold.
We're praying for that breeze.
You're right. Because at this event, it's gonna be hot. So we're gonna be, like you said, we're gonna have to usher down that breeze. But yeah, so
man.
Once again, the family event, F3, July 30th, 10 acres down in Bean Acres, Georgia. Everybody go get your tickets. Now, I know here soon, the Truth Be Told Flex podcast, we will be able to sponsor some tickets. Tell us before you guys go, now we got it scrolling across the screen, and I seen Sister Delta is in the building, Light Hebrew Magazine is in the building, man. The House of Mono in the building. This is gonna be a beautiful event, man. I can't wait. Y'all willing? They're gonna let me perform, y'all. They're gonna let me sing a little bit. They're gonna let me sing a little bit. I might get there a little time. But yeah, it's gonna be a righteous event. So tell us how to get in touch. The Facebook, the website. How can we get tickets? All of that great stuff.
Definitely. So 3mgmusic.com. 3mg that stands for Monumental Music Group. Which is a righteous a music company that I think they have some big announcements that's coming out soon, man. 3mgmusicgroup.com. You can go get your tickets there. Tickets, they have VIP tents available. You can sign up to be a vendor, you can sign up to be a performer. And you can get your kids on tickets there.
Oh wow.
Also they're looking for volunteers, like, because we flying in artists from all over the country, man. A lot of righteous acts are coming in, so we need help. We need help from volunteers, for drivers, security, servers, all of that. But all of that is right on the website. And as far as social media, I think everything is F3 Friends.
F3 Friends, F Family. Okay. We got it in the banner.
Family Fest.
Great.
That's awesome. IG, Facebook. Of course, you can reach out to the Light Hebrew Magazine.
Yes.
Tickets are on sale now. Tickets are available, man. They definitely said they was trying to make everything cheap, man. We're trying to make it affordable for the family.
$10 a ticket.
Woo, I'm talking about, you have, like I said, you saw the names that we named as artists performing.
That's worth it to me.
Man, of course. Absolutely. way more than worth it. And like you were saying, this is a great way, everybody, seriously, this is a great way to serve.
Right.
We've got artists coming in to minister the word of the Most High.
That's right.
Vending, people may need help getting chairs set up, getting things set up. So it's a great way to serve the Most High and to serve the people in a family capacity.
Right. And then you're gonna have so many righteous news outlets. I think you guys will be there.
We'll be there.
Podcast. Why Boaz don't want your ass?
Want your ass will be there.
Podcast will be there.
NMP Ministries. I think they'll be there.
I mean, it's a lot. Atlanta
Cosmopolitan.
Light Hebrew Magazine. I mean, it's a bunch, man. So time to get, interviews in. I ain't gonna lie to you. If you have the ability to be in Atlanta in July,
we gonna be active.
You gotta be there. We outside. Them brews outside.
Brews outside, digger. And this is hosted by Mr. Cherry of Views himself. Am I right?
Yeah, Israel will definitely. Mr. Cherry Views himself will be. Man, awesome. He's one of the funniest guys in bro.
Great personality. But he's gonna have to do a lot to host this event. The Top Mono. When Mono at the dripping step. Hey, look, I won't let you get off here without saying. But yeah, there you have it, family, everybody. Once again, you heard it straight from the House of Monologue. This is a great family event. Get your tickets now. Don't be there. Don't meet us there. Be us there. Okay?
Be us there, yes, sir.
Don't meet us there. Be us there. And once again, Why Boaz Don't Want Your Ass streaming on Thursdays,
8 o'clock.
Come on.
And Messiah TV at Monologue McGad and at Miss Mono's World.
Come on. You heard it here first. And like Monologue said, soon got some great announcements coming up. So y'all keep it locked. Why Boaz Don't Want Your Ass. The first 8. Shalom and shalom to y'all. We love you guys.
We thank y'all for having us. Thank y'all for having us. Shalom and shalom.
Anytime. Please come back. Shalom, shalom. Love y'all. Yeah, man. Wow. The hustle. And see, I didn't know. They were just like, when they hit us in the email, they was like, yeah, we're going to have some 3MG reps. I didn't know it was going to be a house of money. Oh, my God.
I didn't know it was going to be the whole house, bro.
We think the 3MG management, the Light Hebrew Magazine, Sister Delta, House of Mono, 3MG Management. Man, we are so excited for what the Most High is doing in this season. Like I said, I seen that line up that roster. Boy, I said, good gracious of life. I said that, yeah, I'm there. So
that roster is ridiculous.
It's crazy. Selah Soul.
That roster is ridiculous.
Woo! Mr. Cherry of Views himself hosting, bruh. Once again, 3mgmusic.com, tlhmagazine.net. Go get your tickets. Keep it locked here. Keep it locked. Why Boaz Don't Want Your Ass. Keep it locked. You will find out soon. We are sponsoring tickets, and like you said, Monologue said earlier, everybody, this is a great capacity. I'm looking at y'all. This is a great way to serve. Yeah. Buy your ticket. Get there, get your hotel room, start working on that now. Get there so you can serve the Most High and serving the people, helping out. Yes, whether it's carrying food, whether it's helping one of the vendors set up chairs, whether it's helping some of the podcasts that's going to be there, set up microphones and tables. This is how we serve. This is how we can start showing the world that this is what we about, right? This is what we about. We about that action, and that action is love. Come on, somebody, that'll preach. But yeah, shouts out to the House of Mono for representing 3MG Management. We appreciate y'all, and we gonna keep the show going. What we got on deck next? Young
got
Judah.
This TikTok talk.
Let's get it. TikTok talk.
Run this video for y'all.
Where should you keep your gun at if you have a kid in the house?
Okay, let's go back. How old is your child when you teach your child firearm safety? Okay, let's just say you keep your gun in the safe, right? You can send a little lock box right next to the bed. Okay? Middle of the night, boom, you hear somebody kicking your door in, they're hauling ass to your room, ready to spray you up. How long is it gonna take you to get that gun on their safe? I can leave my gun on the counter if my child already knows firearm safety. Now, go back to my question. How old should a child be before we teach them firearm safety? Garbage. How old were you when your parents taught you not to stick your finger in the light socket, touch the stove, play with knives? You couldn't even talk. Barely could walk. Perfect example. Some stuff you just didn't play with, right? Mommy and daddy taught you look left, look right, look left before you walk across the street. Did you play with traffic? Some shit you just not gonna do, right?
Now, before I get into it, what you got to say, yo? Talk to me.
Yeah. So, gun safety is a must. I agree because, well, here's the thing. You gotta, like you said, boom, y'all forbid something happened to any of us, but boom, you hear the door or the window downstairs, your gun is in the safe. How long is it going to take you to get to the safe?
Get that gun out.
Right. So I believe per household, it depends on who the head is, especially in our culture, who the head is.
Yep.
And like, hey, everybody in the house, we go to the range.
Yep.
We can listen. We can pinpoint you.
Yep.
So everybody in her can shoot. So we practice gun safety now. I ain't trying. We keep ours tucked away, but available.
Right.
If you know what I mean. Keep it in a safe place, but also keep it available. Keep it away. I got a 6-year-old. You know what I'm saying? And when he here, hey, they get, if it's under the bed or on the dresser, you never know. He may get curious. So I believe it is up to the head of the house. He consults with his pillar of rest, his wife, his Aisha, and they as parents can figure out, okay, this is what we do in the event of something happening in the house. This is where it is. These is where the ammo is. This is where this one is. This one is. This one is. So we can all get to it. So
right.
That's I believe it's up to the parents to kind of decide, and then from the head and the parents, it filters down to the children. So at least the children know, okay, we got something in the house
to protect ourselves.
We can't get it. We let mom and daddy handle it. And if something happened and they not here, maybe they gave the authorization for the older ones to assist the younger ones in the house how to deal with it. So
right. Yeah. Well, I mean, you pretty much took the cake with that one, Ayob. I'm not gonna.
Sorry, man. I ain't mean to be long-winded.
No. It's not even that. It's just you said literally what needed to be said. It start with order. That's what it starts. It start with the head of the household. It start with the heads of the household, and then it trickles down. My take on it. So, my father's kid. All of us is grown, so it's not like a big explanation. It's not a big thing about gun safety. We all have common sense. We're old enough now to know, you know what I'm saying, about firearms. And we, like you said, we go to the range. You know what I'm saying? So,
right.
But for those families who have younger and smaller children, this would be more important for them to know, because it's like he said, it's no different than teach. Oh, hold on. I'm dealing with what you're dealing with. the whole screen just went black. Okay, right, I'm back. Yeah, I'm back.
Okay, there you go. So, I was gonna figure out where you go.
Okay, so yeah, it's no different than teaching your children to look both ways before they cross the street.
Right.
No different than don't touch the knife drawer. Don't put your fingers in the socket. Don't touch a hot stove. This is all common sense things that you should teach your child at a young age, so that they know growing up, it'll already be programmed inside their head that they have this gun safety. So
Absolutely.
Yeah, but you did take the cake with that one, saying it starts with order. That's where it started.
Right, and it starts with order, and like you said, me and the family was talking today, and before we move on, I'll try to say this quick as I can. Y'all know how I'm long-winded, but everything starts with order, and everybody has a responsibility.
Yes, sir.
It falls on me as the head, but my wife, Malka, she has a responsibility. Also, the children, like you just alluded to, like he said in the video, the child, no, don't touch that burner on that stove. You better look across the street both ways before you walk. That's a responsibility you learn at 4. What's the main one? We learned at 4 or 5 years old. Don't talk to strangers.
Don't talk to strangers.
That was a responsibility, like you said. It was in us, and then over the years, we could decide, okay, I don't like the way he or she look. That's a stranger. Or, oh, you need help? Or you fail, you can get up. That ain't saying don't help a stranger if they fall and broke their leg.
Right.
You have to be able to have discernment and decipher what situation is best to choose. So yeah, that was a awesome, great TikTok. Because here at the Truth Be Told Flex podcast, of course, we advocate the amendment to bear arms, the right to bear arms.
Yes, sir, we do.
With that comes safety. You have to be safe, and you have to make sure that we don't condone violence here. It is for your protection, right?
Yes, sir.
So yeah, great TikTok talk, man. Because that's not talked about enough, though. We don't talk about that enough in our communities about
at all. Because it's such a I feel like it's a cliche to talk about
and taboo.
About gun safety in the Black community because we done been around them. It's not, you know what I'm saying? We do it to ourselves. We are our own worst enemy. So the fact that that's not being talked about enough in households is a problem when it definitely should be.
It's a problem, You're right, man. It's a problem.
Yeah.
Awesome, man. Great TikTok talk. We are an hour and 27 in. We appreciate everybody hanging out with us. Just hang out with us a little bit more. We're going to try to, we had a great takeoff, a little turbulence. We got the coasting at a high altitude. Here a little bit, we're going to have to land this plane down. All praises for that.
Yes, sir.
I think we got another music break. We got
our last music break.
Our last music break. We got a good one for you, Solemn Prophet. Let's go. The homie, Solemn Prophet. Let's get it. Let's go.
Your itinerary is being recalculated. Your destination is 1.5 miles away.
Come take a ride with us.
What you know about top down in the Mustang, going about $150 on the highway, in the fast lane, in the fast lane.
Okay.
What you know about just driving down the interstate, no destination in my way, in the fast lane.
Hey, I'll give him a yes if you ready.
In the fast lane.
Yes. Moving, cruising, trying to stay in my lane. Bye-bye to Mary Jane. Oh wow, how life changed for the better. Had to change gears cause I kept reversing back to my old ways, looking for the cheddar. I'm still chilling in the hood like an engine, but I'm just planting seeds trying to help the youth have a great beginning. Instead of getting drunk and spinning like some chrome rims, they need help. It's to the point they can't phone friends. Without the peer pressure up in this dark world, we need high beams, don't get hit like a deer or squirrel. Through Christ we all can make it, just let him take the wheel. You feeling sleepy, don't crash, then go through the windshield. We love the fast lane, but sometimes gotta take it slow. You hear them 12s in the back, your trunk about to blow. My tank full, cause my cup is always overflowing. I match the gas in the fast lane, you see me rolling.
Top down in the Mustang, going about $150 on the highway, in the fast lane.
Riding with the team.
In the fast lane. What you know about just driving down the interstate, no destination in my way, in the fast lane. In the fast lane.
Sometimes when I be riding, I just pray to the Father. Pray for to be chasing him instead of chasing the dollar. Cause this world is full of sharks as I be facing piranhas. I'm all about shalom, so I drive away from the drama. My eyes on the road, the reward gives a clear view, leaving all the sin in my past in my rear view. Spreading this word to anybody who will seek help. And since I got the Torah, I don't really need a seatbelt. A student of the word, learning as I read. A servant of a higher, he supplies my every need. On a righteous journey, Messiah navigation. I just put the whip in gear, cause I know he my destination. It's liberating to break bread on the road. Everybody sharing strips, we all part of the fold. Iron sharpening iron, metal grinding, doing 90 on Abba's highway, and in this lane is where you'll find me.
I'm about top down in the Mustang, going about above 50 on the highway, in the fast lane.
Come take a ride with us.
In the fast lane. What you know about just driving down the interstate? No destination in my way, in the fast lane.
All praises.
In the fast lane.
You have
Yeah,
All
man.
praises, all
I
praises.
love that joint. In the valley. I love that joint, man.
Listen, let me cruising to that, man.
That's a high joint by Solemn Prophet. His
Solemn
album
Prophet.
is streaming on all platforms, so make sure y'all go check him out. I believe he was also added to the roster too. I had to check. I don't want to be
nice.
certain. It would be what?
It'd be nice. Hey, look, that $10 ticket don't sound so.
He gonna have right. That $10 ticket sound wonderful. And once again, we will be giving away and sponsoring tickets here soon. So
yes,
I believe 3MG is gonna hook us up with 10 tickets to sponsor / giveaway. So keep it locked here at Truth Be Told Flex Podcast. Like, share, subscribe to the channel, because here soon, we'll be giving away tickets. We're gonna be doing little things here and there to give away these tickets and sponsor these tickets. So y'all make sure y'all keep it locked. But what we got on deck right now, we was talking earlier about the debt ceiling. And me and the family, we was just talking about how egg prices are now down again, even lower than they were before. Like a few months ago, it was $21, $23, $24 a carton for like sometimes a dozen or a pack of 24 when they're normally $3, $4, $5.
Right
now you can get. I seen a dozen eggs the other day for like 89 cents. I was like, wait a minute. I had to check. I'm like, is this? She was like, yes. Hey, I had to check and make sure somebody hadn't moved it. You see something 89 cents, you get up to the register, it's $14.
$14, yeah.
Right. But me and the family was just talking the other day about how egg prices are now down even lower than what they were before the inflation spike a few months back. And my daughter, Mahalik, she immediately was like, something's going on. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
Everybody was like, yeah, you're right. Like that's strange how it was steady and then boom, it just
went out of nowhere.
And then not only did it fall, but it fell sharply. So once again, like Hoshir was saying yesterday in his extra, who is doing that? We see President Sleepy Joe Biden. We talked about the Congressman Alexandria Cortez and Mr. Jamal Bowman and Marjorie Taylor Greene, and you see Chuck Schumer. You see them out there, but who's behind? You see Janet Yellen, the state treasurer or the Fed treasurer, but is she the one really doing this? So we got an article we're going to get into. This article is out of Fortune, and it says no corner of the global economy will be spared. How America's first ever default would tank the entire world. We were talking about, we read earlier about, we were reading scripture, right? More scripture comes to mind. I believe it's in James, where it talks about how the money will be moth-eaten, rusted. Let me see if I can find that real quick. Give me 1 second. This wasn't one of the scriptures that I had prefaced, but I want to believe it is James 3:1. Let me see.
Take time up.
Yeah, let me see. All right, James 5. James 5. And y'all see who on the screen? Sleepy Joe pointing.
Sleepy Joe.
He don't look at it. He about to go to sleep right now. He don't even know where he at.
He don't know what he pointing at either.
Can I get some ice cream with some sprinkles and gummy bears on it? I need to be smiling up. But anyway, James 5, man. It comes to mind when I was reading this article, James 5. James 5:1. Go to now, ye rich men. Weep and howl for your miseries that shall come upon you. That shall come upon you. See, it ain't happening right now. They good. They able to control the narrative. They got congressmen fussing and they politicizing Jordan Neely and Daniel Penny. They got Daniel Penny doing an interview tomorrow. I couldn't have killed him on purpose because I was going to take a trip to Africa. They got all this stuff going on.
Right.
They got all this stuff going. It's just wow. You got Brittany Griner. They fussing about not selling out seats. They got all this stuff going on, man.
Smoke and mirrors.
Smoke and mirrors. Like Sheer say all the time, smoke and mirrors. Who's behind this stuff? Dysotipian society. Simulated in a movie. There's a script being written. And it says in James 5, your miseries that shall come upon you, that shall. So it hasn't happened yet. Come on. Verse 2, your riches are corrupted and your garments are moth-eaten. Your gold and silver. Most High didn't say mine. He said, your gold and silver is cankered, and the rest of them shall be a witness against you, and shall eat your flesh as it were fire. Ye have heaped treasure together for the what? The last days. Come on, man. So let's get into this article.
Before you get into that, though, I do just want to touch on one key word that you said in your prefix. The word shall. When the Most High speaks anywhere in the Bible and he says shall, that's not him just letting you know something just for the good of his health. Shall is a guarantee.
Say it again. Come on, you better
shall
bring
is
the word out.
a guarantee. So when you hear that word shall, understand that it's going to happen.
It's going to happen.
Might not be today, might not be tomorrow, might not be next week, but it's gonna happen for sure.
Come on, that's a great word that you just said something profound, because I can tell that you listen to your pops, you listen to your dad, because he always prefaces it. It's not a matter of if, but when.
When.
Come on, we know it's coming. We know. But they sitting back, see, they get this information from the fallen ones, and they think they got a loophole how to get around it.
Right.
The word talks about that too. The Most High is like, man, y'all are the worst checker players in the world, and I'm playing chess.
Right.
We're not playing chess, but he's like, I'm over here with the chess pieces.
Right.
Y'all over here with checkers and spades. Y'all losing and think you winning. So
whole different game.
He's here. I'm in a whole different arena. And I even told you, I said, your ways are not my way. Y'all don't think like me. Y'all actions not like me. But y'all glossed over it. Y'all got hooped and hollered and your ways are not his ways. We roll on, we shout, run around the church, hit the ground, roll on the floor, give our tithes and offering, go home, still defeated. Rent due the next day. Don't know who we are. Don't know how to be more than a conqueror by knowing who you are and knowing getting back to your power. And then here comes this stuff. So check this out. Man, great shall. Y'all remember that shall as we're reading this part of shall. It says, if the debt crisis roiling Washington, thank you, sir, were eventually to send the United States, the repercussions of a first ever default on the federal debt would quickly reverberate around the world. Orders for Chinese factories that sell electronics to the United States could dry up. Swiss investors who owns U.S. treasuries would suffer losses. Sri Lankan companies could no longer deploy dollars as an alternative to their own dodgy currency. It says no corner of the global economy will be spared if the U.S. government defaulted and the crisis weren't resolved quickly, said Mark Zandi, which is he's a chief economist at Moody's Analytics. If everybody, Moody's is a credit rating agency by the FICO, the Fair Isaac Credit Operations. So Moody's industry, when I worked in finance, when we pulled the Equifax, TransUnion, and Experian, Moody's is they're like the managers of all of that.
Okay.
You got Moody's, you got different companies that manage that stuff, and whether it's an installment loan or revolving credit like a credit card, they the ones that control that. So they work directly with the feds.
Right.
So they know whenever they know that Janet Yellen is going to come on and give a speech about how the feds are going to either raise or lower the interest rates, and then the stock market is going to either adversely be affected by what she say and what they're going to do, Moody's is the ones that control and keeps up with that stuff. Okay.
Right.
It says Zandi and two colleagues at Moody's have concluded that even if the debt limit were breached for no more than a week, the U.S. economy would weaken so fast as to wipe out, listen to this, 1.5 million jobs. Do you know how many families that affect? And like they said at the first, 1.5 million jobs, that ain't just McDonald's or Burger King or Walmart or Target. You're talking about
some high income jobs as well.
Right. High income jobs like say Ford. Y'all just see on TV, or you see the Ford truck sitting on the lot. Well, somebody had the lug nuts, the tires, the rims, the door handles, all of that stuff that went on every screw and nook and cranny. Somebody had to operate a machine to make those things.
Yep.
So if Ford produces, 500,000 cars per year, and if out of those 500,000, if there's 50,000 Ford trucks, Ford F-150, you take 50,000 by, if there's 5 lug nuts on each wheel, that's 20 lug nuts. A box of 20 lug nuts may cost $3.50. You say, oh, that ain't nothing, $3.50. Well, times 50,000 by 350. Or how many wheels? You got 4. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
The rubber on the tires. Michelin, Goodyear, the Ford has to buy those tires from them. So they make the money in turn so they can invest. And it just feeds off like that. You know what I'm saying?
It adds up.
It adds up. Each company, somebody had door handles, the glass, company has to make the windshield and the windows. Somebody has to make the windshield wipers. And Ford has to buy all that. Say they spent out $3 billion buying all that. Well, you say that's a lot. Well, they had $15 billion on cash to buy it. And then when they sell all the trucks, they're going to make another $80 billion. You see what I'm saying? That's how
it works. Yeah.
And that's what they're saying. If 1.5 million jobs is gone, that's Chinese factories not making this. So that's workers laid off. Yeah. So those workers that are laid off, not only are they buying groceries and making car payments and mortgage payments, but the company that employed them, they're not buying the lug nuts anymore.
Right.
Or the tires anymore. Or the windshields. So the windshield company that makes the windshield glass, guess what? Now they laying off 200 people. It's just a triple effect.
Yep.
See what I'm saying? So it says, and if a government default would have last much longer. Now, we mentioned earlier in the show, I believe they got to the 6th or the 11th of June to get this debt
figured out.
To figure it out. And if after that, if they don't, and the government shuts down, you'll start to see mid-July, you'll start to really see it take effect. But let's move on. And if a government default were to last much longer, well into the summer, the consequences would be far more dire, Zandi and his colleagues found in an analysis. It said the U.S. economy growth would sink, 7.8 million jobs would vanish. Borrowing rates would jump. The unemployment rate would soar from the current 3.4% to 8%, and a stock market plunge would erase $10 trillion in household wealth.
So tell me now, correct me if I'm wrong. So to make sure I have the right understanding of this. So the longer that they pretty much that government default, the longer that they have that open, the longer that they're still printing money. Obviously, the dollar is still devaluing, for one. For two, that's putting us in more debt.
Right. Come on up. Bring it out.
And three, what everyone thinks is, because they're printing more money, we pretty much okay. Good now. Everything's gonna be normal. Right. No, that's gonna mess up the economy even more. What you want them to do is to go ahead and shut this down.
Right.
So we can go ahead and start not necessarily getting used to, but figuring out what we need to do with these following proceedings after they shut this thing down. Because the more they keep printing money, the worse it's gonna be for everybody else.
That's it. That's it. Awesome. That's great that you said that, because we're gonna get to that in just a second and talk about what's gonna happen. So that's, man, you right on it. It says a debt default will be a cataclysmic event with an unpredictable but probably dramatic fallout on U.S. and global financial markets, said Edward Prasad, professor of trade policy at Cornell University and senior fellow at the Brookings Institution. Like I said, Brookings, Moody's, they all have these institutions where they grade this stuff. Everything is graded on an A through F, and they'll grade. If Moody's, like when you hear a few years ago when I think Obama and they were going through this debt thing and Trump, they were saying Moody's will downgrade the U.S. borrowing rate if they don't reach the debt ceiling. So Moody's is, like I said, they handle Experian, TransUnion, and Equifax, but they do it for big companies, right? And I think we lost young Judah. Hopefully we get him back in a second. Young Lion, come on back in if you can, brother. I think we'll get him back. It says the threat has emerged just as the world economy is contending with a panoply of threats, from surging inflation and interest rates to the ongoing repercussions of Russia's invasion of the Ukraine to the tightening grip of authoritarian regimes. On top of all that, many countries have grown skeptical of America's outsized role in global finance. This is what young Judah was just talking about. Creating more money, you're just getting in more debt. And you think that we're okay, but the more money you print and make, the more of the value goes down. So when you take that dollar to buy something from China or Sri Lanka or Venezuela, they say, nah, it was 100,000, but now it's 350,000. You see what type of increase that is? That's what we're getting to. And it was a great point that he brought that out, because we're right on track. It says, in the past, American political leaders generally managed to step away from the brink and raise the debt limit before it was too late. Congress has raised or revised the borrowing cap 78 times since 1960, most recently in 2021. Yet the problem has worsened. Partisan divisions in Congress. We were just talking about Jamal Bowman, Marjorie Taylor Greene. Just talking about that earlier. Partisan divisions in Congress have widened while the debt has grown after years of rising spending and deep tax cuts. Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen has warned that the government could default as soon as June 1st, which is right around the corner, if lawmakers don't raise or suspend the ceiling. She says if the trustworthiness of treasuries would become impaired for any reason, it would send shockwaves through the system and have an immense consequence for global growth, said Maurice Opsfield. Excuse me, I thought it was Janet Yellen, but Maurice Opsfield said that, which he is a senior fellow at the Peterson Institute for International Economics and former chief economist at the International Monetary Fund, the IMF. It says treasuries are widely used as collateral for loans. See what I'm saying? As a buffer against bank losses. Now, we just did a show on Silicon Valley and the other banks that are defaulting, and the Fed's having to come and take them over, right? Treasuries are widely used as collateral for loans, as a buffer against bank losses, as a haven in times of high uncertainty, and as a place for central banks to park foreign governments and private investors that hold 7.6 trillion of the debt, roughly 31% of the treasuries in financial market. Man, it says because the dollar's dominance has made it the de facto global currency since World War II. So you got to figure, since World War II, the United States has been the de facto. That means the go-to. They've been the go-to currency. The value of the dollar, you know how they say, well, the dollar is strong and the dollar is, you know, that means that it's valued across the world in different markets. A dollar is worth $1 or more. You know what I'm saying? That's what they're saying. And that's been since World War II. So that means it's relatively easy for the United States to borrow and finance an ever-growing pile of government debt. It's hey, U.S., y'all dollar is good. You can borrow anytime you want. Whatever you want, you can borrow. We'll print the money. You got it. Now, check this out. This is what Young Judah was alluding to. But high demand for dollars also tends to make them more valuable than other currencies, and that imposes a cost. There you go. I think we got them back, family. There you go. It says a strong dollar makes American goods pricier relative to the foreign rivals, leaving U.S. exporters at a competitive disadvantage. That's what Young Judah was talking about. Seemed like, oh, we could just print more money. Well, the more money you print, it's almost like if you go to a pawn shop, right? And you go to a pawn shop and you want a gold herring chain, right? If he's only got 3 gold herring chains in that whole building, he's got a short inventory. So guess what? The value of that gold chain is going to go higher. It may be $150 or even more. But if he's got 100 of them, he's trying to get rid of them. So guess what he's going to do? He's going to sell it at a lower price, right?
Right.
So once again, like Young Judah was saying earlier, the more money we print, we think it's good, but you just got so much money out there. The people that buy U.S. goods and that export and import, their what do they call it? Their confidence in the dollar will fall, and the value, that means the value will fall, right? That's what Young Judah was talking about earlier. It says the strong dollar makes American goods pricier relative to their foreign rivals, leaving U.S. exporters at a competitive disadvantage. That's one reason why the U.S. has run trade deficits every year since 1975.
Right.
Check this out. Researchers at the Federal Reserve have calculated from 1999 to 2019, 96% of trade in the Americas was invoiced in U.S. dollars. So was 74% of trade in Asia. Elsewhere outside of Europe, where the euro dominates, dollars accounted for 79% of trade. So once again, so reliable is America's currency that merchants in some unstable economies demand payment in dollars instead of their own country's currency. Check that out. That's crazy. Consider Sri Lanka, battered by inflation. I think I can't remember what episode. It was a while back, maybe last summer. We talked about Sri Lanka. We talked about them trying to overthrow the government. It was bad. Tissue was like $600 or something. It was tissue, was like a roll of tissue was like $100 for a roll of 6. It was like $700. It was crazy. So that's what this is saying. They say consider Sri Lanka, battered by inflation and a dizzying drop in the local currency. Earlier this year, check this, shippers refused to release 1,000 containers of urgently needed foods unless they were paid in dollars. So if you came with the Chinese yuan, the Mexican, I think it's the petro, I can't remember what it is.
The
pesos, the Indian rupee, the Russian ruble. They was like, nah, you got to be paid in dollars. We want cash.
Right.
So it says, unless they were paid in dollars. The shipments piled up at the docks in Colombo because the importers weren't able to obtain dollars to the suppliers. Like I said, if nobody is buying lug nuts, if Ford can't afford the lug nuts to put on the tires, and the tires, there are no trucks to be made. So it's the same here.
Right.
If you're not paying it in the dollars we want, we ain't moving this food to city.
We're not taking it.
We're not taking it. We're not accepting the Indian rupee. That value is low. I have to double. I got to pay workers. I got to pay for the gas for the boats. I got to pay the driver. If I'm getting it in the rupee, when I give it to them, I'm gonna be in the negative as a company. So pay me in the dollar, and I'll pay them and handle everything, and I'll have a surplus left over. This is what this debt ceiling is about. It says without dollars, we can't do any transaction. Said Nihal Seneveratin. Whatever. Okay. Yeah. Nival. We just gonna call him Nihal. A spokesman for Essential Food Importers and Traders Association. When we import, we have to use hard currency, mostly the US dollar. Man, it's a tough thing to sell. And lastly, it goes on to talk about the 2008 crisis, how this would be worse than that. It says if the United States were to pierce the debt limit without resolving the dispute and the Treasury defaulted on its payments, whatever, once again, imports, things coming into the United States, we making money, we're just paying off, and I'm glad, thank you, Most High. The king coronation that just happened, that's who the United States is paying back for this land, the interest. So the more money we make, we just paying it out. So guess what the United States got to do? They got to go to Moody's and say, hey, we got to borrow another $600 trillion to pay these bills, to pay the government workers, to pay the Pentagon workers. You see what I'm saying? So if the Treasury defaulted on its payments, Zandy suggests that the dollar will once again rise, at least initially, because of the uncertainty and the fear. Global investors just wouldn't know where to go except to where they always go when there's a crisis, and that's to the United States. But the Treasury market would likely be paralyzed. Like Young Judah said, oh, let's print the money. It'll be a quick fix, but after a while,
it's going to do more harm than it will good.
And they just said it. It just said that'd be great. People are going to run to the United States and they're going to say, well, we got to print all this money. Okay, let's print $100 trillion worth of dollars. They're going to do it. And then over 6 months, people are going to stop buying. People will stop exporting. It says investors might shift money instead into U.S. money markets funds or the bonds to top flight U.S. corporations. Eventually, Zandy says, growing doubts. That's what I say. I just said consumer confidence. Growing doubts would shrink the dollar's value and keep it down. Man, it's about to get serious, guys. That's that debt ceiling talk, and that's an article from Fortune 500 companies. Yeah. So, and what they're saying is, it ain't about they're not worried about the small companies. Fortune 500 companies are, Gucci and all. If Gucci people are not buying more leather to make their pocketbooks and shoes and more material from Egypt or wherever they're buying it from, Australia, if that's going to have the ripple effect, because Gucci or Prada or Balenciaga and all those, they won't be the only ones. That means Target is not a Walmart or Beverly Hills stores. They're not buying from Gucci to sell or make a profit.
Right.
What's your thoughts on that, young Lion, young Judah? Crazy, right?
Man, Shay, bro. To be honest, we've been talking about it for so long, especially these past 2 weeks about these banks closing, just the everything that's just been going on with this debt ceiling. So if they don't, you can hear me good, can't you?
Yes, okay. I can. Yes,
all right,
absolutely.
All right. Yeah, like I said earlier, though, if they decide to print more money, yay! Stuff is going to seem like it's regular, or it's the same as it's always been as far as right now. It's not going to look like a huge change,
right?
And that's what most people want. They don't want change. They don't want anything good to come out of, or not anything good. They don't want anything new. They want to deal with the devil they know, not the devil they don't know.
Come on, man. Come on. Yes.
So,
yes.
With that being said, they want people, or they want the government to just print more money so everything can stay the same. But what people don't realize is if they do that puts us in more debt, and that also puts us in a position to where the government basically is going do what they've always wanted to do, have more control over us. Is why they're trying to do this Fed Now thing right after the Cash App got died.
Thank you, Op. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, man.
Dystopian society, man. Dystopia, a community or society.
No, I'm on here. I'm in here.
Filled with
Well,
grief and pain and all of this chaos. So yeah, spot on, man. I mean, it goes right with the with the show title. It's about to get crazy, man. So we got to keep it, keep our discernment sharp. Yeah, man. It's I don't even know what to say, because we talk about it, and we know our audience is tuned into it and aching to what's going on. But I just hope that listeners that may not be subscribed to us, that come in and listen, we want you to be prepared. This is not a fear-mongering show. We give the information to the people. We know our audience and our family do their own research on the information we give you, and you guys can take it. And then once you see it on TV, you say, "Oh, I know what they're doing." Young Judas here and Io was talking about this other night. I ain't fooled by that. They behind the scenes putting these congressmen against each other, while everybody else is like, "Oh, you shouldn't have said that, and he's a threat." See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So this is why we're
already gonna be up to speed.
Right, y'all already be up to speed. So all praise for that. I think we got a buy or sale. That was a great segment. Got a buy or sale. What we got for the buy or sale, my brother?
I got you. Go ahead and find this thing.
Yeah.
There you go. Here we go.
Knowing that China waited to tell the world, knowing that they were developing a vaccine, knowing that the U.S. funded it, knowing that the World Economic Forum, and the WHO and the NIH and all these people push this shit hard as on people. Is it possible that certain elements of the United States government, Anthony Fauci, certain elements of some of the wealthiest people on the world, Bill Gates, Klaus Schwab, et cetera, is it possible that these people coordinated this and did this on purpose?
Go ahead. You go first.
Man, say.
I already know the answer.
I'll buy it, bro.
All right. So he gonna buy it. Everybody give me in the chat. Everybody in the chat, give a 1 if you buy or a 2 if you sell on the fact that Bill Gates, Anthony Fauci, Schwab, if the government is in on what's been happening, or if they're not. So I see Mahalik says buy. Mahalik got a 1 for buy. Okay.
Got a buy. We got
a buy.
Yep, we got another buy.
Let's see who else says buy. But go ahead, young Judah. Go ahead. Go ahead, bro.
I mean, it's like I know common sense ain't common, but this is this is common sense. Where do you think I get it from, man?
That means you listening out, because like you should say, common sense ain't coming. We got buys all across the board.
We got buys across the board, man. Because how can you see what's going on in the world and not think that the government has something to do with this? That's their whole thing, is trying to control. If they have all the control, they can do whatever they want with us, bro. We're the government sees us as, if I'm using this word right, I hope I am, expendable. We are expendable, especially the house of Israel, bro. We are very expendable to them. They don't care. They don't care about us. They feel like they don't need us.
Right.
They don't want us here because we would have chosen people. Right. So obviously, bring some youth in here. They hating.
Right.
Obviously, they hating.
Right.
But that's the gist of this thing, bro. How can you see what's going on and not think that the government is a part of this, man? So yeah, I'm buying all the way, bro.
Elder Nasiah, welcome to the show, Elder. Elder say
1 to the 9th power. Do you hear me? Real talk, man.
Man, I agree. I buy with everybody else. We got buys all across the board.
All across the board.
Everybody that popped on the and I love my man tinfoil hat that he had. That's
because I don't know what that was about, but it fit for the video for me because it's just like, this is idiotic. What I'm talking about is idiotic. So enjoy.
Right, exactly. But yeah, I buy it. I think for a long time now, we talked about the Genesis 15:13 Noah for surety, that for 400 years, 1619 to 2019. 2019 just popped things off. Yep. I mean, it was getting up to a point where it was boiling over, but it popped things off, and since then, the Most High has just been showing out, and he's just getting started. You know, we read 2 Esdras all the time. You know, Jeremiah 23, Jeremiah 30 talks about the latter days. Joel talks about in those days. We just read in James 5, you know, it talks about like you broke down the word shall. SHALL, shall. That means it's going to happen.
It's going to happen.
Like Shir says, it's not a matter of if, but when. So at some point, we have to understand, great buy, sell, I buy. I ain't even got to go to a long explanation. I think you nailed it.
Yep.
It's just
the chat
obvious.
nailed it.
We all got common sense on this panel, so
yes,
common
sir.
sense tells me yes, this is a setup, and it's great. I mean, it ties right into the show. Dysotipian society, a community and a society of chaos, degradation, not getting better, but as the word says, waxing cold, waxing worse. So yeah, I buy that. Everybody bought it. Yeah, it's great show, man.
Great show today, man.
Awesome. I know next week we will have Nehemiah and Swords of the Spirit in the building. Now Tuesday, he'll sit down with me. Then of course the next day, Wednesday, last Thursday of the month, we'll have our throw around session. Our throw around. Well, it's not throw around Thursdays no more. Or throw around Wednesdays segment with us, Sheer and Young Judah and myself, chopping it up with Nehemiah and Swords of the Spirit. Also, remember to keep it locked. We will have tickets for the F3 Family Fest for July 30th in Bean Acres, Atlanta, Georgia. 10 acres of beautiful land. You got lakes, feeding ducks. You got vendors. You have the whole roster of artists. You heard the Mono talking about that. Shouts to 3MG Management, 3mgmusic.com. Go get your tickets. Shout out to Sister Delta and Brew News that was in the building.
Yes, sir.
Go to tlhmagazine.net for more info. Going to be a great event. We will have tickets on deck, giving away and sponsoring them soon. Any last thing, Young Lion of Judah? What you got? Anything to say?
All I gotta say, man, is if y'all have the opportunity to go to this event, do not miss out. Please do not miss out, man. This like Ayob said earlier, this is a great opportunity for the house of Israel to serve. Man.
Yes, man.
Please, if you have the opportunity, go to this event, enjoy yourself, bring your family, meet new people. You know what I'm saying? Just go. Just go.
Just get there.
Just get there.
Don't meet us there. Beat us there.
Beat us there. Come as you are. Just go.
Yes, sir. Just come on, be there. So with that being said, Truth Be Told Flex Podcast, episode 102, Dysotipian Simulator. We appreciate everybody. We love y'all. Y'all are the greatest family. Shouts to Nasaya in the building. Nasaya, thank you for having us on Nasaya TV. Shalom, shalom. We love y'all. Take us out.
If there's one thing I've learned as an Israelite, we've got to keep the commandment. I was tired of being fed up, so I got the Bible and opened it up, and I saw that I was living wrong, wilding out, yes I was. Now I do my best to follow these laws, I used to be. Oh no, I'ma change my life. I'ma do things right. Yeah. And even when it's hard, I gotta be faithful like it is to me. I'ma do my best to keep the commandment. Oh yeah. See, I played both sides too much. And the truth, found the truth, back and forth too much. No. This time I'm gonna be faithful, that's for sure. Yeah. 'Cause I don't wanna live the way I did before. Oh, no. So I decided I'ma stop playing games. I don't wanna be the same. I don't wanna be the same, no. I'ma change my life. I'ma do things right. Yeah. And even when it's hard, it gets hard, I gotta be faithful like it is to me. And I'ma do my best to keep the commandment. Yes, I am. If I stay faithful, he'll be faithful to me. Hey. He won't let me fall down. He won't let me fall down. Oh, I know. He loves me. 'Cause he died for me. Yeah. And all of his right, yeah. I'ma stop playing games. I don't wanna be the same like I used to be. No. I'ma change my life. I'ma do things right. Starting today, I'ma live a different way. When it's hard, it gets hard sometimes. Faithful like it is. That's alright. I'ma do my best. To keep the commandment.